Welcome back to the channel. So happy that you're here. In this video, we're going to get into 7 things that I have learned from being a nurse for almost 10 years. So I got into nursing when I was about 21. I'm 31 now, and I have been in all different areas in the field, mostly in cardiac, but I've taken that kind of level of experience and I've been in different areas. So like I started out in cardiac step down, and then I was in cardiothoracic ICU. I did pre-op and PACU. And then I went down to kind of step down. Now I'm working with LVADs, where I'm traveling and doing a travel nursing. So a lot of different states, a lot of different areas, and a lot of experience. These are a few things that I have learned that is like not really related to like the medical field, not like what I learned like in how to give medications, but like what I've learned holistically from the field, and what I plan on taking all of these tools that I have in my toolbox now onto my next chapter. And we can kind of like really uh almost almost like not regret, but not feel as like satisfied with ourselves if we're like in a field or if we're doing something and we want to like shift into something else. And it's really easy to like shit on what you're doing. And I did that for many years. And now I'm like, wait, I was in this field for X amount of time, and I actually developed all these skills and tools that I wouldn't have if I wasn't in the field. And actually, everything that has been in my path so far is helpful for me in my future path. That is actually helping me in my sole purpose and what I'm actually here to do. So, everything that all the events, all the trials and tribulations, all the relationships, all of the darkness, the sadness is equally helpful to know what you're supposed to do here for, and is redirecting you, and is also going to allow you to feel and be expansive of all the happiness and joy, and really anchors you into your sole purpose, because nothing is by accident, even if we think that like, oh, this isn't helpful for me. So the first thing that I have gathered from being a nurse for 10 years is how to prioritize. And prioritization is really necessary in life, because we can feel like we have like this massive list all the time that we're really working through in our life, especially if you have kids, if you're working, with the house, there's always something to clean, something to do. And prioritization has been key for me in other parts of my life, because as a nurse, it's like not always life and death, but like it could be life and death. Like it could be like, oh, okay, this person isn't doing well. Am I going to go give someone like pain medicine if like someone is having trouble breathing? Like, no. So being able to recognize and spot different hierarchy, like needs of myself, even how to prioritize within my day to day, how to prioritize within other people, and in relation to myself, has been one of the biggest things that has been very a game changer. And it's just like a daily thing with being a nurse. Like you have to prioritize and set your day every single day, because every day is new. You have new patients all the time, and things can change rather quickly. So you have to be able to learn how to prioritize what person to see and first, and then what thing to do first, what to assess first, all those things. And that has related to how I live my life outside of the field. And yeah, so that's a big thing. Second thing is communication. You're communicating every day with lots of people, like with your patients, with your coworkers, with physical therapy, occupational therapy, with the doctors, with the family members, with your nurse practitioners, with your patient care techs. Communication has to be effective, and it has to be clear. And we kind of call this like closed loop communication within the field, where like you say something, and especially if it's a medication, if you hear like, okay, give this, then you're responding like, okay, you want me to give this. And it's like closed loop where the person's like, yeah, I want you to give that. So there's no error in or there's like less error in that because you're confirmed both on the same page that yes, that's what I meant. So closed loop communication can also be used in personal life. Someone could say something and then you're like, did you mean it like that? And the other person could be like, oh no, I mean it like this. Like, oh, I thought you meant it like that. So that's helpful. So it's kind of like clarifying what the person had said, like if you heard that correctly, or if they meant it that way, then you could be like, wait, did you mean it like this? And they'd be like, no, I didn't mean it like that. And you're like, oh, okay. And that like immediately will diffuse the situation, or it will prevent miscommunication, or it'll prevent, maybe a potential fight that didn't need to happen. So communication is used, every single day. We are all using communication every single day. How we communicate with each other online, how we communicate, with our coworkers, with our family members, with our romantic partners. And it can be a very difficult skill to have, to be very clear on our set boundaries, on our expectations. There's whole fields in communication. And sometimes we can be like kind of on ourselves to be like, man, why do I always have like relationship issues? Or, why am I, people are always taking me the wrong way. And it's because this skill of communication isn't fully developed. And it's not always. Like there's different tools in different areas that you can expand on how to really utilize this tool, but it is something that is used every day. So if you have something to develop your communication skills and you have these tools like this closed loop communication, or like clarifying, like clear boundaries, setting clear expectations, and getting used to that, communication in general in your life becomes much easier. Your relationships become easier, or at least you know what the person is, where the person is at, and you have less stories to be told in your head to be like, oh, maybe this person is thinking this, and you could literally just ask and clear that up. Second, communication. Third is energy exchange. Energy exchange. And this is one of the big reasons why I got into nursing from, not consciously, but like from a soul contract level. The nursing field was chosen for me, or I chose it for several reasons. And one of the biggest reasons is to learn how to manage energy. We are energetic beings. I help move energy for people. And I'm a healer, an energy healer in a way that I didn't know that I was when I got in the field. And so getting into nursing gave me such a background to understand the human body on a very 3D level. And then it allowed me to have that experience when I go into like energy healing, to be like, okay, these are the physical symptoms, but also let's tune into the energy. And also energy management and relating to like not letting others drain you. So we need this more in our life, of this energy exchange management, because when we're around different people, when we're working, when we're with different friends or family members, we can feel really drained from those relationships, and we can feel drained from the day. And we are feeling this because we're not properly managing our own energy. We're giving it away too easily. We're not having those energetic boundaries. We're not releasing those cords. We're not clearing our energy. We're taking people's energy with us, like instead of having like a very clear boundary. So this is important because this is day-to-day things. Like we are energetic beings, period. Like it's science. It's not even woo-woo. Like a lot of the things that we think are like, oh, woo-woo. It's just literally science. Like we could put electrodes on our body and we could read your energetic field of your heart rhythm. Like that's an energetic thing, like your energy beings. And I learned how to regulate this very strongly because patients are sick. They need more energy. And so when I overgive, then I feel drained. Or when I don't have clear boundaries, their shit will get into your field and you have to clear your field. So this was like a really good lesson, that like I leave the day sometimes feeling really drained. And so things that you can implement that are just very simple is having both feet planted firm on the ground so that you can send energy down to the earth. You can do this when someone is telling you something dramatic, or they're unloading on you of their experience, or they're being really emotional. If you have both feet planted on the ground, you are grounded, allowing all of that energy to be transmuted into the earth rather than you take it on if you have like not both feet planted on the ground. This can also mean at the end of the day, you're clearing your energy body. You're taking a shower and you're just wiping all of the energy kind of away from you. This means also stating out loud that I bring all of my energy back to me, and I send all energy that is not mine, return to sender, or allow it to be transmuted to the earth. So it's learning how to feel into your energy body. And it taught me this very strongly, because if I'm working 3 or 4 days in a row, it's not just the physicalness that is draining. It's the emotional and energetic reasons why it could be draining. Energy management was really big. Okay, so the fourth thing is critical thinking. And this is helpful for a lot of reasons, because we need to be able to critically think on, is this person saying something that is truthful? Does this make sense for me? I have all of this kind of like data of, X, Y, and Z. And if I critically think, does that make sense for me? Do I want to do that? Do I want to not? And it helps like allow, like you're kind of putting the pieces together. You're looking at something and you might be able to like read behind the lines of like what is actually happening. It can look at like, okay, I'm seeing this lab values, and then I look at the blood pressure, and then I look how the person is looking. Is everything making sense? Does anything else need to be addressed? Do I need additional information? So this on a medical field level of critically thinking. But then on a life level, it's also like, yeah, and what I'm doing day to day, is that adding up to the life that I want? Yes or no? It's like, okay, if all these things that I say that I want to be a part of, or that I want to do, or that I want to embody, am I really going to do those things? Like, is that really going to happen based on what I am doing day to day? Does it match? So you can use critical thinking for yourself, and you can also use this for other people in situations of like finances, relationships, job. Yeah, critical thinking is a good skill to have. The fifth one is trusting my gut. There's a lot of things that happen that everything on paper can look correct. The numbers can look correct. All the labs, the blood pressure, everything can look fine, but you just have this feeling that like something is wrong. The person is sick. There's something to do. There's something to do here, and this person needs help. And trusting your gut from that, in my experience, can literally be life or death for somebody. And when you don't trust your gut for something, then, obviously in other areas of life, it could really be, whoa, I should have listened to myself. I shouldn't have gone that way. I shouldn't have, done that thing, or talked to that person, or I shouldn't have continued in that relationship. My gut knew not to do that, and I chose to do it. And that's how we learn to like listen to that more. And I literally just had this myself, because I was like, oh, yesterday I was like, I'm kind of tired. My body kind of needs to rest, but I wanted to go to the gym. So I kind of had felt like that I shouldn't have gone to the gym, but then I went to the gym, really, really did the gym, and I hurt my back. So that is something that I literally just learned again. Anyways, trusting your gut in any situation, always, over anything else, because your gut intuition, your inner knowing, that inner voice, no matter how small, is powerful, because that's our little north sign. That's our compass. So trust your gut. The sixth thing is looking at the whole and in pieces. So this is kind of related to like critical thinking. But we can get so focused in the details of our life and the things day to day that we're doing, and so micro, so narrow, so like focused in that we forget to zoom out and look at the big picture. We could be so into our lives and what we're doing, and then forget about our family, or forget about the collective, forget about our community. Or we could be so into detail of like, oh, I missed these things, or like I didn't hit my workout today. I didn't drink my water. I didn't meditate, or I didn't journal, and I missed those things. And we could be like so down on ourselves on this micro day-to-day things. But if we zoom out, we could be like, wow, actually, I did journal 25 days out of the 30 this month. And that's more than I ever have done. Or I didn't hit my water goal, but I also, again, hit my water the last 5 days. Or the same thing with, feeling like you are in this self-improvement kind of self-discovery. And you could be like, man, I really didn't show up myself in this way. And you're like, well, the last 2 times I was able to communicate my needs. So it's really like allowing yourself to zoom out in the big picture, more so to see all the things that you are going right, the things that are that you have done. And so with nursing, this really helps because you can say like, oh fuck, like I missed this dressing, or I missed wasn't able to fully like help this person do this. But you could say, well, I was able to give all their medication. I was able to do this dressing, and I was able to do, help them with, update their family members and stuff like that. So it's really like not feeling that you always have to do everything perfectly, because that's impossible, literally. So it's zooming out, looking at things in the micro, in the little puzzle, but then also looking at the whole. We could look at the pieces, fix the pieces, put the pieces together, but we could also zoom out and see how much we actually have completed. So that's been really helpful for a lot of things in my life. And the last thing is reading the room. The 7th thing, kind of reading the room is helpful almost when we're like also tuning into energy. You could read the room on what the vibe is with the patient, with the family members, with the doctor, with your coworkers, with your family, with your partner. Things could be said to feel like things are fine, but the vibe of the room is not fine. And that is a very good skill to have, because there's a lot of things that are not said with body language, with energy, with vibe, with tone, that you get to pick up on to be like, yeah, okay, you're saying things are fine, but all this is saying it's not fine. Reading the room is an important thing that has nursing has taught me, because it's it allows you to be like kind of gives you that secret sauce, or like gives you that extra sense. We could see things, we could hear things, we could taste things, we could feel things, but like that extra little spidey sense of like, yeah, but this is the energy of the room. You could, like the saying, like you can cut the tension with a knife, stuff like that. So that's really powerful to have in your day to day, to really like read the room of things, like kind of sense what the pulse is within the room that you're going into, your house, and somebody else's space. Even like read the room, even with a certain person, you can kind of read them to be like, okay, where are they at? And so those are 7 things that I'm taking, that I learned over the past 10 years being a nurse. And those are all skills that I have more in my toolbox of like the next thing that I get to take all those things, even though like the skills, the technical skills of like reading labs or pressures or starting IVs or all these like different like technical skills of a nurse that I might not take with me to my future venture. That might not be like the next path that I'm going, but I am taking all of these other back-ended skills that I can bring with me in any area of my life. So hopefully those are helpful for you, and you can start to think about all the skills that you have learned from your industry and what you've gathered in your toolbox. Maybe you can take some of these tools with you too, and that everything that you have done thus far in the past up till now is helping you with the future and with your soul mission. So yeah, I hope you stay alien, get weird, and I will see you in the next video.